Fox News.
Fox 26 News had learned some Houston bar owners have learned the hard way. You can't show premier sporting events without paying the proper fees. A half dozen businesses were hit and thousands of dollars were seized. We have more in this report. Kings Court is a hot new hip sports bar in East Downtown. With all the screens, the big draw to the customers is clear.
Our business is very important to just bring more customers over here to see the different type of sport we have, like dynamo, the soccer, the baseball.
But what you won't catch Meghna and her husband Jatin Patel doing at Kings Court is showing pay-per-view sporting events without the proper licensing or fees required with broadcasters or production companies.
We don't want to have any violations, any fines with any companies or broadcasters that allow us to show these pay-per-view events.
Fox 26 News has learned a half dozen Houston bars did not follow those rules. And just recently, this month, many of them had their assets seized. One Houston popular night spot had a whopping $42,000 taken out of their cash registers and safe by the US Marshals under court order. That was after the businesses were sued for showing sporting events illegally and failed to show up in court. So their assets, meaning cash and or property, seized. The Patels want to avoid that at all cost at their new business.
We want everything to go like smooth, nice.
Now, Jolanda Jones, Houston attorney, joins us now. This is an expensive problem if you have it. If you go showing pay-per-view events, premier sporting events in your bar or sports bar or nightclub without permission and the proper fees.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, even if you're at home and you want to get one of those events, you have to pay for it.
Right.
Right? And it's a form of intellectual property infringement. So you're taking something that is a property of somebody else's. What I understand about these bar owners, for whatever reason, they ignored when they were served by the lawsuit and got a default judgment entered against them. If you get a default judgment entered against you, there's nothing you could do. So all the federal government did was come in and they executed the writ for the judgment. It's my understanding that everything was, the judgment was resolved. So,
and we're talking about the last one of these cases, $42,000, and that lawsuit was filed in 2012. Apparently they ignored it and it came back to haunt them.
Well, if you ignore a lawsuit, I mean, they tell you when you're served with a lawsuit that you have 20 days plus the Monday next to reply to it, and then you go through the court case and it'll resolve itself. If you don't show up at a court hearing or if you don't answer, then they can get what's called the default judgment, which is basically whatever you ask for, you get. They tell you what the damages are, you have to pay it. They tell you what the attorney fees are, you have to pay it because you weren't there to fight it. So it's possible, had they defended the lawsuit, that they may have been able to come up with something and work something out where they wouldn't have had the federal marshals come in and take all their stuff. But the federal marshals can come in and take what you have to satisfy the money amount of the judgment.
Now, how in the world would they find out that you're showing a movie illegally in your bar, nightclub, something like that?
You know, I would imagine that at all these places that have events at Hooters and I mean, all these places that have events and people can pay to come watch them, they probably have undercover people in there checking to see.
And they would take that and match it against a list of subscribers.
Oh, absolutely.
Or those who have actually paid the fees.
Yeah, so I mean, it's sort of like stealing cable TV. I mean, remember at the time when everybody was afraid, like, because people rig things, and if you get caught, this very same thing can happen to you. You may not have as much to lose as them, because I'm certain they went back and looked at receipts for the days, for the time that they showed it to see how much money they made and how much, the cable company or whatever that was selling the broadcast would have made, and I'm certain that's what their damages were based on.
And I'm told even if you don't have enough cash on hand and you can't make a payment plan, they start collecting merchandise or actually
they can seize buildings. They can seize your property if it's not exempt, like in Texas, your home is exempt. I think you have a car that's exempt, but otherwise they can go to your bank account, take your money out your bank account.
So smartest thing, if you're sued in a case like this, you're a sports bar or nightclub, take care of the lawsuit. Pay attention to that lawsuit.
Pay attention to the lawsuit, but not just if you're a sports bar or nightclub. If you're anybody, pay attention to the lawsuit.
All right. Attorney Jolanda Jones, thank you for coming on. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a moment. Coming up tonight, an Oklahoma woman is behind bars accused of feeding her 3-month-old an adult beverage. And good news for credit card users. The number for those cards